Hi, this is Steve O'Mooney, and you're listening to another production of the Four-Eyed Radio Network at foureyeradio.com.
Hey there, Eric here from Socially Awkward Studios, and this Four-Eyed Radio presentation is being proudly brought to you by Raven Designs, illustration and design that fit your personality. For samples and inquiries, visit ravencruise.com.
Starfleet Escape PodCast. Prepare for launch in 3, 2, 1. Enjoy the ride.
Welcome to the Starfleet Escape Podcast on the Four-Eyed Radio Network, where we escape into the Star Trek universe. This is episode number 56, and is being recorded on July 10th, 2015. Today's topic, weddings. I'm Aaron.
And I'm Eric. This episode is brought to you by Revenge Lover, illustration and design that fit your personality. For samples and inquiries, visit revengelover.com.
Hi, Eric.
Hey, Aaron.
It's been a while since we've recorded.
I sense a recurring theme. Yeah, I'm glad we're able to talk.
Yeah. I miss you.
You're my buddy.
Yeah.
You're my buddy. I'm so happy. Well, weddings for the topic, eh?
Mm-hmm.
Because you're getting married in like a month now.
Yep. Less than a month.
Well, yeah, now officially less than a month.
Yep.
So,
Scary.
I mean, what a better topic than this?
Indeed. Maybe I'll get some inspiration.
I don't think you're getting a Star Trek wedding, dude.
Well, I was able to incorporate some Star Trek into the design of the invites and whatnot.
Well, that's good. Yeah, which looked awesome, by the way.
Oh, thank you. Thanks.
Everything turned out really nice.
Thank you, I appreciate that.
Yeah. Well, how about some news?
So yeah, let's jump into news now. Our last episode was just news, so we pretty much covered it all.
There was a lot of news. But hey, the Star Trek world is never ending.
Nope.
And there's even more news.
Keeps on going. So we mentioned this in the last episode.
Okay.
The For the Love of Spock documentary. We weren't sure if it was going to be funded fully, but thankfully it was successfully funded by 9,439 backers who pledged $662,640.
That's incredible. That is pretty awesome.
Yeah.
I'm excited for this documentary. Spock is by far the most popular character on Star Trek.
Oh yeah, no question. No question. I even named my dog after him.
Well, it's a cute dog. It's a
thank
very
you.
logically cute dog.
Indeed.
Although I bet he's anything but logical.
Oh no, not at all. Not at all.
Next, Justin Lin, who is the director for the next Star Trek movie, he tweeted a picture of a Starfleet patch from what's now titled Star Trek Beyond. He said, "Let the next Starfleet voyage begin. Hashtag Star Trek Beyond. Hashtag LLAP, or Live Long and Prosper." And I noticed that there were some other people who compared this patch, and I guess it was the same patch that was in the last movie, like Carol Marcus, and they had him on their jackets, like when they were on the shuttle. Mm-hmm. And people noted that that was the same type of Starfleet patch.
Okay.
So, yeah.
I like it.
I like it too. I like whatever it's attached to. It looks like a good texture. Well, it could be like a bag. It could be a uniform.
Right. Someone, I believe it was Chris.
Chris Duhan.
Yes, Chris. He said it looked like a chair that this was attached to. I believe.
That really looks like someone's shoulder, though.
It could be. It very well could be.
It could be anything. And that's why it's so vague.
Mm-hmm. But I like it. I like the texturing of the actual patch itself. It looks pretty cool.
Yeah, it's kind of almost like 3D-ish and textured. It looks good.
Yeah. All the uniforms have been
I like
textured.
Even if the movies are crap, the uniforms look good.
There you go. So, in real life, real world news, There is a proposed list of Star Trek names that will be given to some geological features on Pluto's moon Charon. Names include Kirk, Spock, Uhura, and Vulcan.
Oh, that's pretty cool.
Yeah. Sounds we have a probe that's going there.
Is it called Voyager?
No.
Damn.
Voyager already passed it.
Yeah, I know that. I was making a joke to Voyager 6 and Voyager.
No, Voyager. Yeah.
Yeah. Thanks for catching that, buddy.
It wasn't that.
Okay, thanks.
I was watching something about Star Trek 5 and how there was no way that probe that the Klingons destroyed.
Yeah, could have made it to Klingon space.
Right. Yeah.
Wonderful.
Yeah.
Well, maybe they were just hanging out near the Earth.
Yeah, right near Earth. Klingon bird of prey.
Whatevs.
Yeah.
YOLO.
I bet that was his motto.
I can just imagine Klingon. YOLO.
We should get someone to translate that right now. What would that be in Klingon?
Do not do that. So, in other news, Axanar kicked off their new crowdsourcing campaign. This time they switched to Indiegogo instead of Kickstarter. And in the first 2 days of its launch, it has received 75% of their $250,000 goal with 32 days left. Like the Kickstarter campaign, there are perks that are set at various dollar amounts. So you can go to indiegogo.com/projects/star-trek-Axanar. And I previously donated to the past 2 Axanar campaigns, and they let all of the previous backers have access to the Kickstarter or to the Indiegogo before anyone else. So, yeah, the majority of this funding was because of previous backers, which is pretty incredible. I mean, they still have a whole month to go, and they're almost there already.
Right. And I'm surprised there isn't fatigue from all these crowdsourcing campaigns that have been out there.
Yeah.
I can't imagine every person who is a Star Trek fan being able to donate to all these. It's nearly impossible.
Well, oh yeah, for me it would be impossible. I only back Kickstarter and Indiegogo campaigns that I'm really passionate about, and thankfully the Axanar people have been amazing so far in organizing and keeping everyone up to date on the perks and when they're shipping and what's the status of them. So, and I think they're doing something that I haven't really seen other campaigns do, which is if you're doing a multiple campaign, rewarding previous backers. And I think that's why people keep coming back, because they have all these perks for people who keep supporting them. And for me, they hooked me with those different shit patches. So when this is all said and done, I'm going to have like a full set of all these patches from the Star Trek universe, which I think is pretty cool.
Oh yeah, no doubt. No doubt. And in related news,
yes,
is actually on the Indiegogo page. Axanar released Star Trek Axanar feature film teaser Vulcan scene with introduction. So if you go if you go and watch this, it's a little introduction into Star Trek fan films and how there's a lot out there and it's diverse and but this one, Star Trek Axanar or just Axanar, is different. It's a different beast, if you will. And after that little intro, they show a fully rendered Vulcan scene from
it looks
from the movie.
Incredible.
It does. The CGI is very impressive.
Well, and that's the thing. Like the CGI, the people that are helping work on this, some of them actually worked on Star Trek. So, I mean, there's no wonder why this looks so good.
Yeah. No,
so,
yeah.
And plus, it's Soval. They've got Soval, so it's got that Enterprise connection to it, which I love.
Right, and it feels canon.
It does. It really does. And I would hope that maybe Paramount or CBS kind of considers this canon, or at least ropes it into canon, because that would be amazing.
Yeah. I mean, they haven't done that with any fan film, but this is...
This reaches like the next level,
right,
of fan films.
Right.
So, yeah, it looks like they're going to get funded all the way. So more power to them. Yeah, definitely. Yeah, definitely keep those coming, because then they've got some stretch goals which are pretty nice. So,
yeah, go do it. Go do it.
Go
do it. So that's there's one more tidbit of news I actually didn't put into the show notes.
Okay.
Let me pull that up really quick, because it was an email I got about 4 hours ago from Star Trek Renegades about their premiere. So if you donate $20 to Renegades, you'll have a free standby seat at the door.
Interesting.
Right. However, there are no guarantees for availability.
Well, yeah, I mean, if it's a standby ticket, then yeah.
Yeah, so this would be, let's see, at the Crest Theater on Saturday, August 1st, 2015 at 4:30 p.m.
Okay.
So yeah, if you're in the California area and want to donate $20, and the $20 donation only includes one admission to the theater, transportation and lodging is not included.
Boo. No, I mean that's pretty standard for any of this.
Right. Yeah, $20 can only go so far. All right, so that's that. If you like Renegades, I'm waiting. I haven't heard anything about a web release of Renegades, so I'm eagerly awaiting that.
Oh, definitely.
So moving on to the next segment of the show, would you buy it? And Eric, would you buy this?
In a freaking heartbeat.
I would too.
So, what are we talking about?
This is the Star Trek TOS Bluetooth communicator, which is currently available for pre-order. The cost, $149.99.
Worth it.
Worth it. This would go perfectly with the TOS phaser remote control.
Yes, it would.
Which is also $149.99.
But it looks like a prop.
No, it does. So let me just run down some of the product specifications.
Okay.
So it's the first fully functional wireless Star Trek communicator, officially licensed Star Trek merchandise, pairs with Bluetooth-enabled phones, designed using structured light 3D scans taken of the Alpha Hero prop.
That's incredible.
Indeed. Includes authentic sound effects and conversation fragments from the Star Trek universe. Wireless range, 32 feet. Standard for Bluetooth, I believe. Speaker allows for hands-free calling or playing music. There's a high-quality MEMS microphone. Materials, combination of pressed metal, die-cast metal, machined aluminum, and textured ABS. It comes with a magnetic stand with metal base and multicolor LED charge status illumination.
Even the base looks like something from Star Trek. It looks like a natural extension of this communicator. Like that's what Kirk would put the communicator on.
Right, to like charge it.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, and it's the phaser has a similar kind of base.
Yeah.
So
It's
you could,
very canon.
you could put these together. I could see that.
Yeah.
Yeah. So the stand supports wireless charging. So there you go. It has batteries built-in lithium polymer.
Gotta love that lithium polymer.
Tasty. So yeah, definitely a yes. I probably won't purchase it, but high on my list of things I want to get.
Is it on your wedding list?
No.
Is anything Star Trek on your wedding list?
No.
What?
We were registered at Bed Bath & Beyond.
They have to have something Star Trek.
I don't know, maybe Star Trek bedding? I don't think so, though.
Does ThinkGeek have a wedding registry?
I think it's too late for that. I don't know.
Well, speaking of weddings,
Yes.
we're going to talk about Star Trek weddings.
Oh, yeah. So this definition of weddings comes from Memory Alpha. A wedding was an act of marrying two or more people, depending on culture, often for the purpose of religion and or sexual reproduction.
Heyo.
I'm all for the latter.
Yeah, me too.
So we have this broken up into a couple of sections. We have Starfleet. I'm not going to go over human weddings because...
I think we all know what a human wedding is.
Yeah. Klingon weddings, Vulcan weddings, and Betazoid weddings.
What about Andorian weddings?
Memory Alpha didn't seem to have any information of Andorian weddings.
Well, that's strange because Data said in Data's Day that Andorian weddings commonly required 4 people.
Interesting. Beyond that, well, even the Bajoran entry for weddings barely said anything, so I didn't include it.
What?
Yeah,
I mean,
it just had a picture of Cisco, Rom, and Lita.
Yeah.
And that was pretty much it.
Okay, well let's get to it then.
Yeah. So the obvious Starfleet weddings. That's where we're going to see weddings because Star Trek takes place in Starfleet vessels.
What?
I know, right? Crazy. So in Starfleet, the commanding officer of a starship or starbase has the authority to officiate a wedding.
Well, that's pretty much in keeping with traditional, with Navy tradition, that a captain of a ship can marry someone.
Yeah, I actually looked into this a little bit.
Okay.
Apparently, U.S. Navy does not allow this commanding officer to marry people.
What?
Yeah.
So maybe that's an older naval tradition.
That's where Kirk says it comes from, I believe.
Yeah.
So the first time we see a wedding ceremony in Star Trek is from the TOS episode Balance of Terror, where Kirk officiates the wedding between Robert Tomlinson and Angela Martine.
Yes, very good.
Yeah. Unfortunately, the ceremony was interrupted by the confrontation with a Romulan ship, during which Tomlinson was killed. So they never actually got married, unfortunately, because the wedding was cut short.
But we saw the beginning of the wedding.
Right, which was in a chapel on board the Enterprise.
The ship's chapel, yep.
And one thing that I thought was interesting, they're wearing standard duty uniforms. And not...
As opposed to the dress uniform.
Right.
Well, this is during the first season. I don't think before Journey to Babel that they might not even have made the dress uniforms yet.
That's true.
So, yeah. But people can listen to our commentary for Balance of Terror.
Indeed. Where I'm sure we brought that up. Maybe.
I think we did.
Yeah.
It was like the first 5 minutes of the episode.
Yeah,
so.
We must have said something. The only interesting or non-uniform adornment is in Angela's hair.
Yes.
Yeah, she has like this white fur dead triple on her head.
Dead triple. I was going to say dead triple. Yeah, which would totally not be within Starfleet regulations.
Yeah, don't wear a dead tribble on your head.
Don't wear a dead tribble. That's fantastic.
Indeed.
The next time we see a wedding is not until the next series, which is The Next Generation. And we see that in the fantastic episode Data's Day. And Captain Picard officiates the wedding of Miles O'Brien and Keiko Ishikawa. So the wedding was performed in 10 Forward, and they were all wearing service dress uniforms. And since Keiko was a civilian, she's wearing traditional Japanese wedding attire. And during the ceremony, Data served as the father of the bride.
Yep. So I highly recommend you watch this episode. Actually, it should be a commentary episode that we do.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, so I finally have all 7 seasons of Next Gen on Blu-ray.
Oh, you bastard.
I know. So now I've got all of TOS on Blu-ray. Now I've got all of TNG, and now I'm crossing my fingers and praying that we get Deep Space Nine Blu-rays.
And hopefully there's not a new medium that comes out that supersedes Blu-ray.
Oh my god. Yeah, like 3D crystal technology or some stuff.
Right. Oh, all of our movies are now on isolinear chips. Like, son of a...
Damn it, man. But yeah, that's the only wedding that we see on The Next Generation.
Yeah.
Well, not really. I mean, that's the only Starfleet wedding we see.
Right.
Right?
I believe so. I think it was the first season, Troy almost got married.
Yeah, that's true. So what's next after Data's Day?
So that's Cisco. We're going to jump to Deep Space Nine. Cisco performed at least 2 weddings. He officiated the ceremony for Ensign Hoya. Hoya. It doesn't say much about that wedding. I don't think do we even see that, or is it just mentioned? Well, there's no mention of her mate, and this person dies, by the way.
Oh my god.
Yeah.
Well, Hoya was a female Benzite, so first of all,
right.
Yeah, I think it was just a mention.
Yeah.
Gotta love those Benzites.
Yep, I think it says that she was the only female of her species ever shown.
Yeah, oh my god! And she was played by Hilary Shepard, who was a main villain in Power Rangers. She was Divatox in Power Rangers Turbo.
Oh, we're bridging universes here.
We're bridging podcasts.
Indeed.
Oh, that's incredible. I didn't know that until just now looking at that.
Oh.
So, awesome.
Yeah. Pretty cool. And Cisco also officiated the wedding of Rom and Lita in a Bajoran ceremony. Which
was a really touching moment in the later 5th season episode.
Okay. Yes.
So that was like the season finale, the Call to Arms.
Okay.
That's when the Dominion overtakes Deep Space Nine.
So, and it's not the only wedding we've seen on Deep Space Nine. Admiral Ross performed the ceremony of Benjamin Sisko and Cassidy Yates, which I nearly forgot about.
I almost forgot about that too, but yeah. Didn't they get married? They got married right before Sisko, went all Space Jesus. Yes.
Deep Space Jesus.
Deep Space Jesus on the next Star Trek. Well, my favorite series, Star Trek Voyager, Captain Janeway officiated the wedding of Tom Paris and B'Elanna Torres. And we got to see it first in a kind of in a fake way, because that was when their mimetic clones got quote unquote married. Mm-hmm. That mimetic gel or whatever that stuff was.
Right. On that Y planet, was that where it was from?
Yeah, the Demon class planet. Yeah.
See, I know some Voyager stuff.
I'm surprised.
Yeah.
No, I'm giving you crap.
Bastard. And so finally, although we don't see the actual wedding, in Star Trek Nemesis, we do see a traditional wedding reception of a wedding a wedding reception from a wedding in the Western Hemisphere of Earth. I didn't want... Because there are many different types of weddings, I wanted to be narrow it down. They got married in Alaska, if that helps.
Yeah, which is where Riker's dad lives.
Right.
But, I mean, even though it wasn't the ceremony, it was cool to see a reception in the Star Trek universe and how things are kind of similar, but not. Like, I love that Worf was getting drunk, and I think that was pretty funny.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I guess on Earth you wouldn't have synthahol. That would be primary something on
on spaceships, yeah.
On a spaceship, yeah.
Yeah.
So it makes sense. Picard's family makes wine.
It's true. Yeah, real wine.
Right.
Yeah, right. No synthahol there.
No, not at all.
So I wonder if Worf's strong reaction was maybe that was his first real time using or drinking actual Earth alcohol. Maybe it was affecting him more than usual.
Maybe, but I think he says something along the lines of Romulan ale should be illegal.
Oh, so yeah, it was just Romulan ale. Okay, whatever.
Yeah, and then Geordi goes, "It is."
Ha 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 ha. Yeah, I love all the times in Star Trek where they mention that Romulan ale is illegal, yet everyone seems to drink it.
Right? And there was for a brief time, it wasn't illegal anymore because of the alliance that they had on Deep Space Nine during the Dominion War, where Admiral Ross was drinking it and couldn't hold his liquor because apparently he was the only Starfleet officer who's never had Romulan ale.
He was the one guy.
The one guy that followed the law.
But he is the type to follow the law. I mean, he was very straight cut, so to speak.
Right. And speaking of Worf,
yes,
let's go into Klingon weddings.
All right. So via Memory Alpha, Klingons have a formal and informal ceremony for getting married. So in the formal ceremony, Klingon warriors beat ceremonial drums, which receive the couple. And those are given by an officiant, usually the lady of the great house of the groom. So the drums are passed on from the lady of the great house from the groom. And they recite a traditional story of Klingon creation, in which the second Klingon heart was created to be joined with the first, and they both rose up against their gods. The Tai Wayan, so I guess that's the officiant of the wedding, presents the couple with batleths, as they did to mock the battle with each other, which represents the struggle of two Klingon hearts beating against one another. And after the couple recites their vows, they swear to unite against all of their opponents, and the guests attack them with ceremonial weapons called the mastakas. So there's also an informal ceremony where two participants repeat an oath, then they kiss, and the ceremony could be performed by the Klingon equivalent of a justice of the peace, or the vow could be taken privately, legally constituting marriage by mutual consent.
And Worf has done both the formal and informal ceremony because he took the vow with, what's her name? Her name escapes me. But
Zia Dex.
No. Alexander's mother.
Kalar.
Kalar.
Yes.
So Worf and Kalar took the informal vow just before she died in TNG, and then the formal ceremony with Jadzia in Deep Space Nine.
But then she died.
Yeah, lesson is, don't marry Worf.
Do not marry Worf.
No.
It could end badly.
It could, most definitely.
Well, this has to be your favorite coming up.
So next up, Vulcan weddings. I'm not quite sure if this would be my favorite because it's, well, let me read.
It's kind of brutal.
So this is from Memory Alpha, and Forgive my pronunciations of these Klingon words.
Let me do it. Let me do it.
I'll do it.
No, I know how it's pronounced.
Okay, all right, go ahead.
The Kunat Calafi.
Very well done.
Thank you.
Was a Vulcan mating ritual, which literally means marriage or challenge, and is fundamentally a wedding ceremony. Kal-Ifi was a passion fight in which a Vulcan challenges another over a mate. During the 23rd century, the fights were over when one was killed. Very brutal. The conflict was generally initiated when either two adult males wished to mate with one female during the Pon farr, or when the female did not want the male that was arranged for her at childhood. The female could choose any defender she wanted, including herself or an alien.
And we saw this in the great episode.
Dun, 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 dun,
Dun,
dun,
dun,
dun,
ba, 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 ba.
That's all I know. I don't know what episode. So this was...
Is that a muck time?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, that's it.
Was it?
Oh, let me check.
Did I do a good job?
You did good. Yeah, it was a mock time.
This was not the only time that the Kunat Calafi was mentioned in Star Trek, because it was actually brought up again in Voyager with the episode Blood Fever.
Mm.
And that's when Ensign Vorik is going under Pon farr. And B'Elanna Torres actually experiences the symptoms similar to Pon farr after she's attacked by him. So they have to initiate the Kunat Calafi. And in Blood Fever, in that Voyager episode, they say it is suspected that if both challengers break their blood fever, assuming one of them is not killed first.
So it's very fascinating that the Klingon ceremony seems a lot more civilized than the Vulcan ceremony.
Well, other than the fact that they have their wedding participants, attack them from behind. But I think that's more like, I don't think they're going to actually fight that hard. I think that's more of like more of like a traditional representation. Like it's just a tradition. Yeah, with the Klingon.
Oh yeah, no, that's what I mean. It's the Klingon ceremony is tame in comparison to the Vulcan ceremony where people die.
Where it's actually to the death, yeah. Well, the Kunat Calafi is only if the marriage is disputed. I mean, that's not their entire wedding ceremony.
Right.
It's just we're seeing one aspect of it.
Right. So yeah,
this is almost like a pre-divorce almost.
Right. Yeah. So yeah, because she didn't want anything to do with Spock.
That's true.
Yeah. So I guess maybe there's more. Hopefully, there's more to the ceremony. I wish we could have seen Amanda and Sarek getting married in Star Trek 2009.
Yeah, that would have been a good. That would have been a good time to do it if they were going to do it.
If they
but
were.
They didn't. Oh yes, moving on to Betazoid weddings. So in Betazoid weddings, prior to the wedding itself, a gift box is sent to the bride. The gift box is because I recently watched this episode a few weeks ago, and
HD.
the gift box in full glorious Blu-ray.
How did the gift box look in high definition?
Well, good, because it had a talking animated face on it.
Wait, they replace the face? No, I mean...
it was just in high def.
I know, but...
It was a practical effect. It was a guy on the floor.
I know that. I mean, how did
it
look?
Glorious in HD. You could see all the wrinkles in the makeup.
Yeah, that's what I wanted to know.
But during a Betazoid wedding... tradition dictates that all people present must appear without clothes at the wedding ceremony, which honors the act of love that the ceremony commemorates. If the bride wants, she can choose to honor the wedding traditions of her groom, which might not necessarily be Betazoid.
Right, because we know that there are two weddings of Riker and Troy.
Yeah, they did a traditional one, which was mentioned in Nemesis. And then they mentioned they were going to do one on Beta Z, fully traditional, which a lot of the participants seemed uncomfortable about.
Right. Worf, in particular, was opposed to it. But then Picard ordered them to participate, and then he said that he was going to go to the gym.
I think that's really hilarious.
Yeah. Would you participate in a Bajoran wedding?
In a Bajoran one, yes. In a
Oh.
Betazoid one, no.
Yeah, that's what I meant. You know what I mean.
I do know what you mean, but I had to throw that disclaimer in there. No, no one except my girlfriend wants to see this. So
Yeah, I'm with you. I don't think I would. It depends. If it was Deanna Troy, I might put up with it.
hey now.
Yeah.
Yeah, and you may put up with it.
Oh, but
Oh.
so that's it for our weddings. So
Yeah, that's it for weddings.
So moving on to the next segment of the show, the subspace channels, and this week's question: which Star Trek characters do you wish were married?
Oh, great. So first we go to Twitter, at Jeffa Star. She said, I'll give it some thought. The obvious ones are Crusher and Picard, smiley face. I also reckon Janeway and Chakotay would have been good together too, but I guess she had a boyfriend at home.
Oh yeah,
But
that's right.
her boyfriend thought she was dead and then married.
Oh,
Chakotay's still an option. Boom. Because no one wants Chakotay and Seven.
Right.
Nope.
so here's an interesting mix. Moving on to Facebook, we have
Okay.
Sean Rowling, who says Janeway and 7 of 9. Not because it makes sense, but because it would fit with today's hot button issues.
Heyo. That's a hot bun. Those are two hot buns.
Oh no.
Hey, I have to fill in for the role of Marty. No,
Again. Oh, snap. See, the reason why I don't agree with this is because Janeway was more of a mother figure to 7.
yeah, it'd be a little weird.
It'd be weird. Maybe 7 of 9 and Kess. I wouldn't mind seeing that.
Heyo. Yeah. End of 4-season Kess, where she also, it's like the battle of the cat suits at that point.
Yeah.
Mike Saucier said, power couple, Picard and Janeway. In a way, I can kind of see this.
Uh-huh.
Because when she was talking to him briefly in Nemesis, which we saw,
Right.
there I don't know if it was, maybe it could have just been Admiral to Captain camaraderie or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't know, maybe Janeway was kind of flirting with him. She seemed like she was like jabbing at him a little bit.
Yeah,
Kind of a flirty way. I can see that. I can see Picard and Janeway.
I guess. I would prefer...
I prefer
another-
Picard and Crusher, though.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So moving on, we have Christine Isabel, which is Marty's wife,
Oh,
who says, ooh, Data and 7 of 9. Interesting combination, since
very interesting.
Data is an android, and
Also fully functional.
fully functional android, and 7 of 9 has...
Part machine.
Yeah, she's part machine. And Data did it with Borg. Don't forget that. Alright.
Yes.
In First Contact. With the
So-
Borg Queen.
So are you saying 7 and 9 would be a step down? Like what?
No, I'm just saying there's precedent to say that he may go with a Borg.
Interesting.
Yeah. She also says Tuvok and Guinan.
Maybe. Well, no, because Tuvok has a wife at home, so that would not work.
Let's pretend he's not married.
I don't know. I don't know how I feel about that. Like, I think Tuvok's super logical. Well, Guinan's pretty philosophical, though.
Right.
Maybe they would be a good intellectual pairing. Right. So, okay. I'm convinced.
Okay.
Next, we have your other half, Ashley Wong, who said Picard and Crusher. Also, Spock and Deanna Troi.
I don't know where she got that from.
I have no idea. Maybe I could see maybe a younger Spock, but where they were at timeline in the series, no way.
No, yeah, I don't know. Moving on, we have Caitlin Marie Walsh, who says Janeway and Chakotay. I'm a shipper. Picard and Crusher, and then she says they're canon in books. That doesn't mean they're canon. That just means that it's been written in books.
Okay.
The relationship.
Oh, yeah, that's right. I did hear about this in some of the newer novels. It is canon, in the at least in the book canon.
Mm-hmm.
So nice.
Yep.
I may have to read that. I'm curious to see what their wedding ceremony was like.
Yeah, it'd be interesting. I mean, that was. Like we mentioned it already, it would have made more sense than Chakotay and Seven.
Yeah.
So next up we have Robin Hayes Hooler. I'm sorry if I'm mispronouncing your name. Who says Trip and T'Pol. That was the most frustrating and disappointing romantic arc ever.
Yeah, that was it was pretty tragic the way they ended it. If you don't count, the last episode of Enterprise, which a lot of fans don't. The actual finale of Enterprise is actually them dealing with the loss of their daughter.
Right.
Which, it was really heartbreaking. And Trip and T'Pol, I think, was one of my favorite romances in Star Trek. Mm-hmm. Because we did see such an arc and struggle and progression throughout their relationship. And it was really sad when they lost their daughter and that they had to deal with that. So, yeah, I would love if they could live happily ever after.
Next, Anthony Lamberti says Picard and Crusher. I really do think they make a good couple.
Yes.
I agree.
A sentiment that is shared by many. Moving on to Google+, Tony Portello said Trip and T'Pol. Robert Ezra Stern said Riker and Ensign Rowe.
Interesting. I see it.
I see it too.
Yep. There was that episode where they lost their memories and then they,
Wow. Michael Smith said Seven and Harry, which Harry had more of a crush on Seven more than anything.
Right.
I don't know. I would say anything is better than Seven and Chakotay. That was actually shown in the show. So
right, at least there was.
I'll support
it. There was some evidence to see that one of them liked the other instead of just all of a sudden, bam,
out of the blue.
Right.
Like, what is this crap? So
right.
And we have Moonfeather. Oh, wait. Michael Smith also said Janeway and Chakotay, which is another popular answer.
Indeed.
Moonfeather said Kess and Neelix. I think I want to say no to that one, just because even though they were dating in the show, they broke up and then they just became good friends. And Neelix kind of had his own send-off from that Talaxian colony. I think her name was Prixol or something.
Sure.
But yeah, we'll go with that. But no, he started to find it and start a new relationship. So I'd rather just have him continue that.
I agree.
I think all the Kess and Neelix stuff was resolved in Voyager.
Yeah. I thought it was kind of creepy.
Well, I think anything is creepy when you have a species that only lives for 7 years.
That's true.
Or 9 years, 7 to 9 years. Yeah. So, Unless it's the two of their own species doing it, fine. But
Right.
I don't know, mathematically, it's weird. Like, hey, how old's your bride? Oh, she's 2. Weird.
Yeah, I agree. Next, Tony Portello chimes in again.
Oh, he chimes in again, yes.
He says, Ensign Rowe and me, or Kate Mulgrew and me.
So not even Captain Janeway, just straight up Kate Mulgrew.
Yeah.
Well, you have high aspirations, Tony. Good luck with that.
Indeed. Karen Turman says Bashir and Jadzia.
I can see it just because, I mean, Bashir pursued her for so long. They could make a good couple, but they didn't.
Yeah, I think...
That's more of like a shipping type of thing.
Right. I think Bashir and Esri made a better couple.
Oh, absolutely. And in a way, he still kind of wins.
Yeah. Win-win. Next, we have Andrea MB, who says Beverly and Jean-Luc, Norris and Odo, smiley face.
Oh, yeah. I would have loved if Kira Nerys and Odo married. That was kind of another heartbreaking thing in the Deep Space Nine finale, was that, she basically had to let go of Odo to go back to his people.
Literally.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's kind of a sad scene.
Yeah, it was bittersweet.
Yeah.
Crazy Girl Fun 1 said Nerys and me. So more power to you.
So moving on to the final segment of the show. Do you know what puts my quantum state into flux?
I have no idea.
So
what is it?
We kind of touched on this in the episode already.
Yes.
But modern Star Trek is full of forced relationships between characters that do not seem to fit or come from nowhere. What is frustrating about these relationships is they are unimportant to the story and seem to just be an attempt to give a character screen time. The most notable example of this is the relationship between Seven of Nine and Chakotay. Two characters need to build a relationship over time, and it needs to seem natural.
I wholeheartedly agree with this, because given this Voyager example of 7 and 9 Chakotay, Voyager actually did an amazing job of showcasing a relationship, and that was between Tom Paris and B'Elanna. Mm-hmm. So to have this crap shoehorned at the end of the series is such a direct contrast to a fantastic relationship that we saw grow over time in the same series. Right. And it's mind-boggling.
Right.
Yeah, that 7 and 9 Chakotay thing pissed me off to no end. It was just horrible. And thankfully, the novel, or the continuation, the relaunch novels, completely deal with that whole mess. Okay. And they resolve that crap pretty quickly. So, even the writers of the books knew that was crap.
Yeah.
That was totally a ratings thing. It had to be.
Oh, definitely. And you know another relationship which I thought seemed forced, and it was at the end of the series, was Worf and Troy.
Yeah. Like that whole season 7 thing going on. Yeah. Yeah, it was so weird. Even growing up watching the show, I'm like, wait, why are they a thing?
Right.
Like, why are they a couple? Because, I mean, even before that show started, timeline-wise, Riker and Troy were always kind of a couple. They may not have been going out all the time, but she was his Imzadi, you know?
Right.
They were each other's Imzadis, which means beloved. Yeah, so for her to like basically give the middle finger to Riker and start going out with Worf, that was just weird.
It was weird, and
I am really glad for Insurrection. I just watched that.
Yep.
I just watched it. It was on TV the other day, or like 4th of July weekend, because I watched it at my parents' house when I was up there. But Insurrection, I'm so glad that rekindled the Riker and Troy relationship, and that they got married in Nemesis. Like, that was a nice way to tie up their relationship throughout the course of the entire series. But yeah, you're right. The forced romance of Worf and Troy, get out of here with that.
Yeah.
It was stupid. It was dumb.
Exactly.
Well, good thing Worf didn't marry Troy, otherwise she'd be dead.
Well, see, the thing is, she dies in the alternate, in the anti-time timeline.
When they are married.
I don't know if they ever got married, but she's dead when their relationship is
at its peak.
At its peak. So
Worf has a serious curse.
Yeah,
he just needs to be a bachelor forever.
It's very sad, but it's true. All right, so thank you for joining us on our exploration of weddings in the Star Trek universe. I had a good time. I hope you did too, Eric.
As always.
So if we wanted to find you on the interwebs, how do we go about that?
I am on Twitter, Instagram, YouTube, pretty much everywhere as Trekkie B47. You can also listen to the other podcast I'm on, the Four Eyed Radio Network, the Ranger Command Power Hour, which is at Ranger Command PH, and we have a new episode every other Saturday, sometimes more.
It seems like it. You guys put out
well, we
so
got
many
that
episodes.
Patreon.
Yeah, the Patreon thing.
Oh wait, June was a little bit insane. That was like 5 episodes. We were doing one every weekend.
Yeah.
Never again. But but no, typically we are every other Saturday. So
very good.
And how can people find you?
You can find me at Nova Charter on Twitter, Instagram.
Oh yeah, I'm also on Ryza. Yeah. I gotta use that, man.
You gotta. And yeah, so you can find me at Nova Charter pretty much on any social media platform. You can find me there. So thanks for listening, and until next time, live long and prosper.
We'll truck you later.
You have been listening to the Starfleet Escape PodCast on the Four Eyed Radio Network, where you can catch a new episode every other Monday. You can find us on the web at sfescapepod.com. Follow us on Twitter at sfescapepod. Like us on Facebook.com/sfescapepod. And add us to your circle on Google Plus by going to google.sfescapepod.com.
This has been another great presentation of the Four Eyed Radio Network. You can catch more shows at foureyedradio.com.